Okay, so I'll just get into my thoughts of the chapter, kind of go through it, starting with page 1. And page 1 just starts with just an immediate tease. Like, because Asta's here, and then Heath, he's thinking back to when he lost to Asta, like, 300 plus chapters ago. He's like, who would have thought you'd get in my way again? And then Yosuke comes up, and he's like, this isn't my thing, but it's gotta be done. I'll take you on. After all, even I've got too much tact to butt in on my guy's rendezvous with his girl. Now, I like the way that TCB scans worded Yosuke's line better. It just seemed like to fit more consistently with his character. But, I mean, it's still, it's the same meaning. I just think that Buzzer did a good job on the TCB translation. I think it's better. Yeah, hopefully this isn't just a tease. Because we have barely, Yosuga, it was just chapters previously, was bodying Asta. And he wasn't even using his magic. We don't know what his magic is, necessarily. We don't, and he should likely have a transformation type spell, like how all the other Ryuzen do. So, but, I mean, then again, just based on how strong he is, he probably won't even need to use it. I think we will see full power Yosuga, but it will not be from Heath. And hopefully we do see some of the fight, but I have a feeling we won't. But there is a huge statement from Lily here. She's like confused that he's alive, and Asta asked her, like, I thought you sent me to the land of the sun on purpose. And she's like, no. She's like, I meant to kill you. And then this is like the huge debate in the fandom that's kind of been spurred on by this. Asta's like, even if you're being controlled, there's no way you could ever kill us. And then Lily's like, I'm not being controlled. I still think that, in a sense, she is. Because I saw people on Twitter saying that you were dumb for thinking that Lily is brainwashed or the Paladins are brainwashed. Even though we have a statement by another character theorizing that, with evidence to back it. And just because she's saying she's not being controlled, doesn't mean she isn't. Because it could be the brainwashing that's making her say that she's not being controlled. Like, if she's being brainwashed, why would she admit it, is my opinion. And even if she is still Sister Lily deep down, but it's just she's had Lucius's essence being implanted into her to, follow him. That still is a form of brainwashing. So, I don't know why, Black Clover fans on Twitter are arguing that it's stupid to say that she's brainwashed, when it pretty much is, pretty much, all the evidence is there that she's brainwashed. This kind of leads into their fight. And we get to see a Holy Fist of Love, which is a huge callback to Chapter 1. You even get Asta thinking about it. But now, Asta, she's doing it on Asta that's just completely different Asta from Chapter 1. And Asta just slices through it like it's nothing. Then we get a few interesting things from Lily here. Unless Asta's immobilized, the forced spatial transfers doesn't work. And she also says that, the spatial domination is just pointless against Asta and his anti-magic. So she says she needs a stronger spell. And what she does a combo spell within herself. Which I believe this is the second time this has happened, where a character has done a combo spell to themselves when they have two magical attributes. Because this X symbol right here, and then the two magic attributes, that is the signifier of what a combo spell is in Black Clover. And this happened with Zenon. I believe he did this with Bone in Space when he made Dang's Lift. And so what this kind of means here is kind of crazy for power scaling. It means she's taking two spells and combining them and making it stronger than the sum. So this spell should be more than 2 times stronger than base Lily, or base Paladin Lily. Like a regular just Paladin power. Sashiel's Flash. And that'll be important to talk about too, because Sashiel is actually an angel, an archangel, in mythology and religion. So, anyways, Lily creates this beam and starts shooting at an Asta. And no, she still just wants Asta to die. She's like, this is for the world's sake. Please die, Asta. I'm still, just super convinced that, there has to be some form of brainwashing here. I don't get, how Lily, the very earnest and innocent character, still wants Asta to die without any form of brainwashing. Am I the only one that thinks that it's a little off? Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the chat. That's exactly what ABD said. I don't know what they said. He doesn't want the water part of Sashiel's flashes, though. I mean, it just seems like it's just water and spatial magic mixed together. What's up, Mala Slayer? No, I don't watch them, Mr. Star. Yeah, so let's get back to the chapter. So, and then this is where we get a further, like, expanding of what's happening. With Lucius and Lily. Lily's like, it's not as if I want to, and it says Lucius is right. She's only been conditioned. She's only been conditioned to prioritize that. Sister Lily is still Sister Lily, and people have been using this again to confirm that Lily is not brainwashed. But this is the opposite. This confirms that she is brainwashed. If she's been conditioned to prioritize that Lucius is right, that's literally a form of brainwashing. Like, she still is Sister Lily, but it's just that like that rule or that law inside of her soul or inside of her brain where Lucius is right. That still is a form of brainwashing, though. So I'm just still really confused why some people think that she isn't brainwashed, when this is just confirmation that this condition, that Lucius is right, is inside of her. And she's like, it's not as if I want to. She's like, she's even saying right here, it's not as if I want to. So she's saying she's doing something that she doesn't want to do because of this, which means she is being brainwashed. Like, it just really confuses me. But Lily starts spamming more of these attacks, and she has 3 of them. This kind of makes me think of Yuno's star magic. I mean, it's different, but just like having these star-shaped things floating around her, shooting beams of light, or space and water, I guess would be this. But it just makes me think of it, which really wants me to see Yuno fight again at his full power. Cannot wait for Lucius versus Yuno. And so Lily starts crying. She actually was crying in the previous panel, but starts crying again. Asta just takes the beam head on. This really makes me think of Spirit Ladros versus Asta. When he got his black form, he just flew right into the beam. And then Asta's like, there's just no way this is right. I am never going to forgive you, Lucius. And then just slashes Lily. And the reason why, like, because I think we were talking earlier on stream that people were wondering if this was not Zed, because it's not stated, but it is like the same exact, like, thing here. Like, the same effect that's happening on her. Like, the look of the slash right here. And then you have Lily losing her paladin power. And why wouldn't he use the Zetan slash on her that only attacks her magic and not her? So it definitely makes me think that he did use Zetan. They just didn't, like, state it in this instance of the chapter. And then you have Lily's face. Her magic, her paladin powers are going away. But as I was already discussing, this does not confirm that Asta is turning all these paladins back into humans. All the paladins have human forms and paladin forms. I'll show you guys one more time. In chapter 344, it's actually shown multiple times, but this is like the most blatant one. This is after Lily's been turned into a paladin. We know this because she's with Lucius in his like throne room. And this is Lily right here. She's just in her like human like base form. Look at all this base Lily or whatever. And then I think it's like next page, she's a paladin. So like just because she's getting reverted to a quote unquote human form does not mean that she is actually losing the power. So that would be a huge critique for me if like Asta, just like in the Elf arc, then it's not gonna hit, because like I like when narratives do like rhyme, like kind of like George Lucas, how like a lot of the Star Wars movies, they rhyme with each other. They have similar tones, but they're done differently. Like they mirror each other. Tabata does a lot of that in Black Clover. I just don't. I hope that it's not the same thing with the Paladins. And as of right now, there is no evidence that that is the case, because he's just turning them to their base form. And that's also, we also have to remember here, guys. Asta is using his Demon Slasher Katana on the Paladins. He is not using the Demon Destroyer Sword. When he turned the elves back into their humans and cast away their souls, that was with the Demon Destroyer sword, not the Demon Slasher. So I really think that he's just turning the paladins back to their base forms. They can, let's say Lily gets healed after this, or like she wakes up and she's partially recovered. She should be able to transform into her paladin form again, which it's good. Because I don't think it's the best writing if Asta can just do these to the paladins like he could do to the elves, and especially if he's doing it with a slasher now, and he doesn't even need his destroyer. I think that would be a little out of left field for Tabata to have him just be able to do it with his slasher. Because I'm like 99% sure that was a slasher. I'm gonna go take a look, but I'm pretty sure he's just been using a slasher this arc. Yeah, it's just his Demon Slasher katana. He's not using the Demon Destroyer, so it would just be really weird for him to be able to do this now. Black Clover, great characters, boring arc so far. I disagree. Yeah, so her eyes being normal, as I showed earlier in the stream, that's just her base form. So there's no proof right now that Asta is just turning them into their normal humans. So that's a lot of people's critique. I would have the same critique if that was confirmed. That's not confirmed yet, so I'm not gonna hold Tabata to it. So, well, yeah, it'll be bad if this is the case, though, in my opinion. But my other critique of this chapter is, as I said in my last review, I really hoped that this fight with Sister Lily was more than one chapter. Like, this could have been a huge spectacle, and I think it should have been two chapters at the very least, to expand on like a good themes and good dialogue and make it more emotional and actually add a bit more of a spectacle to the fight, like have them doing some crazy ass shit for two chapters. But one chapter, it's a bit too sped up for me. But I mean, the fight might not even be done. Just because she's losing part of her paladin form does not necessarily mean that she's screwed. Lily was paladin, even human. Yeah, but I'm just saying Limai, that this doesn't mean that Asta is turning them into normal humans to where they're not paladins anymore at all. Asta one-shot. Well, the reason why I think that... So, first I'll give my predictions for this arc, or for the next chapter, and then I'll get into like a bigger prediction. So I think next chapter could just be the ending of Yosuga versus Heath. The chapter might just start with Yosuga like being cocky and Heath's just on the ground down for the count because Yosuga's that strong, and then they'll have to fight the dragon again. Remember, the dragon got resurrected, and then it might just be Asta and the Ryuzen 7 fighting the dragon, and that's kind of my prediction for the next chapter. But this also might be the next chapter, or even later, is I think it's going to be finally the Shogun of the Land of the Sun, Ryu, and Lucifugus, their connection will be revealed. And I think he will end up being the big bad of the arc. And that'll help Asta, like, be prepared for Lucius by fighting such a big bad. Ryu is just a super sus. The weird part of his past. The fact that he has no magic, but literally just instant-egged a Zeton from Ichika and Asta like it was nothing. He has this eye and this really weird power. The power is tied to devil power because other types of forbidden magic have granted characters the ability to see, like Ryu has. So, Black Clover Reddit thinks Beto is above you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. The Black Clover Reddit is filled with... I'm not even going to expand on it. Like, it's just bad. But, I mean, it's just a Reddit. You're going to find all kinds of people there. Even people that just don't even pay attention. But I think that Ryu... He either is going to be working under or for Lucifugus, or Lucifugus is going to take over Ryu. And then this Lucifugus or Ryu pact thing, what they're going to do is they're gonna take Beelzebub from Lily, and then Beelzebub with Lucifugus and Ryu is just gonna be a completely broken combination, and maybe even like purified. I don't know, but yeah, I think that that's gonna be like the outcome. I think that it's gonna be something like that. How strong do I think the dragon is? KZ Glow. I think it's pretty strong, but Asta should be able to take it down. I think these were probably going to be, besides Lily, the weaker paladins, especially Yurlu and Heath. But yeah, so I think that Ryu is just going to come out. It'll be revealed that he's the villain, like I theorized months ago. He's going to be tied to Lucifugus, and then he's going to try, and then the two of them are going to try and take Beelzebub, maybe the devils or devil power given to Yurlu and Heath. It's never been confirmed that Yurlu and Heath have devils, but they should at least have devil power that's been purified. So, but yeah, I think Ryu is going to be the big bad. I think it's pretty well foreshadowed at this point. Heath has Lilith's power. I don't think that's been confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised, though. I doubt Asta can or was able to negate the soul manipulation Lucius put the Paladins with the Demon Destroyer Sword. They can only negate the Paladin's form and maybe weaken the urge to follow Lucius. Yeah. I mean, I think the Demon Destroyer could possibly do something, but he's not even using it. People forget that Lucifugus is a loyal servant of the three rulers. That is kind of just taking the mythology or demonology of our world and applying that. Because we don't really know much about Lucifugus in Black Clover. And if we go by consistency of how devils are portrayed, they don't really have fealty to each other. Like, Megicula was going to essentially betraying Lucifero by manifesting early and all that. So I don't think that because Lucifugus is loyal to Lucifero in demonology, that means that he's loyal to Lucifero at all in Black Clover. I mean, it could be, but Yuno's parents are definitely paladins, sun and moon magic. That'd be interesting. But now that somebody brought that up, I do want to go read the chapter where Lucifugus is shown and just double check what's said, because I think it does say something about him supporting the devils of time, space, and gravity. But I can't remember how it's worded. It says the underworld is ruled by three devils of gravity, time, and space. One of the devils who supports them is the supreme devil Lucifugus. Now, supports is kind of vague. And just because Lucifugus supports them, and this is 20 years ago too, by the way, doesn't mean that. But I also think it would be interesting that if Lucifugus does have fealty to Lucifero, and maybe even the other Devil Kings, that Ryu and Lucifugus could be a villain to Lucius and a villain to Asta. And therefore we have three factions all warring against each other.